Okay, I'm not sure if I'm live. This is such a weird interface I'm seeing right now, and I just wanted to pop in here. Right, today is Monday, the first Monday of April. Can you believe it's April already? Right, and so I'm popping in here because over the weekend I was really thinking about you guys, and I just really wanted to share what's on my heart and. If you've known me for any period of time, I know most of you are new to me, but if you know who I am for any period of time, I'm very direct. Uh, I usually am just a straight shooter. Like, if you don't want to hear my opinion, then don't ask me the question. That's just the kind of person I am. Um, and I've been journaling a lot. So I written down some stuff here. I may be looking down at my notes from time to time, but I want to make sure I get this right. And so yeah, I was just kind of going through the weekend, you know, and just a lot of journaling and reading my Bible and watching a lot of online church. I mean, that's one good thing that came out of this whole situation is all the online church services at your fingertips. Can be a little bit overwhelming, and it was for me. And I just decided to get into my prayer closet and to just think about this group and where I want to kind of take the direction of the group. And I know I've been kind of quiet because I've been sitting on this and praying on this for about 2 weeks now. So most of you came into the group through the Recover Resiliently Summit, which I say was a smashing success for a first time newbie. I was very happy with the results. Um, but what I'm noticing is that, of course, this is all Facebook algorithm and everything. And so most of the people who have been commenting on the post are really just my friends. And while I love all of you who may watch this later and you're already my friend, um, this group wasn't just for me to interact with my friends. It was for me to support those of you who came in through the summit funnel or however you got here, if you got referred here by a friend because of the summit. But all of this is based on the whole concept of recover resiliently. And even the concept of the summit had been brooding in my spirit for a while before that even launched, and even coming up with a title for it and talking about emotional resiliency. Who knew, right? Emotional resiliency before all of this COVID-19 came up. And so, I'm just thankful that, one, I hear clearly from God, I get downloads and I take action. Um, and honestly, I've been sitting on making this video because I'm like, I just needed to pray on it and sit on it and make sure that, one, I prayed about it. And then two, that those of you who watch the video hear my heart and hear what I'm trying to say. So here goes. Um, well, I know that some of you see my posts, some of you hear me, watch the videos. My experience of you is that you choose to be quiet, whether you see me talking or the video passes up in your feed. There, I invite people to engage, I invite people to comment, but yet most of you choose to stay silent. Most of the people that comment are people who know me or, the summit guests, right? Who all of them were my friends, and I consider them to be friends in real life. And so, while that could be a case of the algorithm, I don't want to assume, but this is what I'm just feeling that most of you choose to be silent. And there's a reason for that. Um, a lot of you came in through Stacy Brookman's email. she sent out emails on my behalf, you know, promoting the summit, and a lot of you came in through her traffic, and some of you even came in through Leslie Vernick and Natalie Hoffman. Like all of these people, they deal with the deep emotional issues of abuse and narcissistic and toxic relationships. So I get it, right? I've been there. I've been through two. Like I'm stubborn. I guess I didn't learn the first time. I said, maybe maybe it was him, maybe it was me. Like let's just try this again. And so I had a second failed marriage, which I'm going to talk about that here again in a sec. But so I just wanted to say all of that is I understand. I understand why some of you choose to stay silent. And it's not that like it's just we've been conditioned when we've been in these types of relationships to stay silent, because if we speak up, something bad is going to happen. So, right, that's what happened to me. And the ultimate silencing came at the end of my divorce. And so we tried to divorce at one point. He convinced me to stay. I stayed with him like another year after that. And then I put my foot down. We filed for divorce together. Like, oh yeah, it's going to be amicable. Like, and then it was not amicable. Kind of like, I want access to my daughter. And what was the final straw was he said, if you ever, and I can hear it so clearly, if you ever come at me and try to take child support, I will kill you. So he told this to me over the phone, and this was like back in the day. I think it was on a house phone too. I'm not even sure. And I wasn't even scared. I mean, that's how bad it was. I was like so numb from all the abuse and all the threats. I was numb. And I was like, yeah, whatever, go ahead, just try it. I'm a feisty one. So that was my response. And then one of my girlfriends called, like, we would just check in with each other every day. And I said, yeah, this fool came in and tried to take me, tell me he's going to kill me and take child support. And she's like, whoa, time out. Like, she's like, yes, he could be joking and he could be just using empty threats. But so not that I'm trying to be like politically incorrect, but my husband is Filipino by nature and he knows how to use a knife, and so and he had a knife collection. He didn't have guns. It's harder to get guns in Hawaii, so but he had a knife collection, and she's like, he has weapons and he knows how to use them. So even if it's not a threat, like a legit threat, you know, you should at least call his bluff and file a police report. And I was like, what? And she's like, no, I'm not getting off this phone until you go there and do it. And so I went down to the police station. Luckily, it was like 5-10 minutes from my house at the time. And I went down there, and lo and behold, um, I mean, either Hawaii is a small world or God always shows up for me. The officer on duty that night was my friend's brother. Like, he and I went to boot camp together, and so I was like, oh, same last name. I know someone with that. He's like, oh my gosh, that's my brother. And then there was another guy. He was not on duty that night, but he happened to walk in. And that's where he's stationed, and we actually met through a network marketing company. He was one of those like off-duty guards at the local state fair, and so he was like that special duty officer that in Hawaii they have to hire special duty officers whenever there's a large event. And so he came by our booth during the event, and that's how I met him. And he just happened to walk in. Of course, all God, and he helped me file the report. They took my statement and they gave me like a temporary restraining order. But he's like, this is just a piece of paper that you can have on you so you have a record of it. And on Monday, you're going to go down to the federal building and file the official TRO, right? And so, um, and then that was that. And he got served. And then, right, it did start the ball rolling. And he knew I wasn't like playing nice anymore. And then he knew I was serious. And so it was the first time that I ever felt really free. Because the whole time he was controlling me with his anger. He was controlling me with, just like I've suppressed a lot of it, or like not suppressed, but I've gotten over it. But there were so many things like that he used to do to silence me. And so, all of that to say is my invitation to you, for those of you who are kind of silent, gone silent, is I encourage you, to use your voice in this group. I think it's not secret, but I think as I'm talking to you right now, I probably will change this to secret group so that you feel safe. I know I talked to a friend of a friend. She was referred to me after watching my podcast interview, and she was like, "Yeah, my husband has login and access to my Facebook account." So we were chatting over Facebook. So I said, "Okay, from now on, let's communicate over a phone call or voice messages that are not traceable, and you can just tell him that I am your business coach and I'm helping you start and run your business," because she had a business. And she's like, "Okay." So I understand. You may, one, not be seeing it because of Facebook algorithm, or two, choosing to stay silent. And I just wanted to invite you today to use your voice. Comment on this live if you feel the things that I've talked about, if you feel threatened in any way, if you've been silenced by your partner or even in the past. And, there's this whole trust thing that comes up, like, can I trust her? Can I not trust her? Use your gut. But most of the people that I talk to, it's just the weirdest thing. People tell me all their stuff within an hour of me meeting them, like even on the phone. It's like, so, well, you know what? If that scared you that I'm going to know so much about you, then, that's a whole nother thing too. But I know that people tell me a lot of things. I do have mental health experience. I didn't go all the way. I didn't finish school to get my master's degree and become an actual therapist psychologist. But I went through, the Army training, and I did mental health work when I was part of the Army National Guard. So I know all about, confidentiality. So, yeah. And if you're scared to comment on this video, send me a DM. Most of you will have a DM from me in your, whether that others box, because I sent a message to most of you during the summit and even after the summit to see how you guys are enjoying it, and if there's anything that I could do to help, and just connect with you, especially in this time of social distancing. And I wanted to also talk about social distancing. And I'm not sure if those of you who are in these very toxic, narcissistic relationships, if that's a problem for you now that you're home all the time, your husband might be home all the time, right? If you're both home from work and all the children are around, because I know children can be used as a weapon, or as like little listening bugs that are listening to your conversations and what you're watching and all that stuff. I've been there too. So just saying, social isolation it's not only now is the government imposing this on us, but it's also a tactic that's used by narcissistic partners. So I just don't want like any of you to feel alone and feel like, I'm just noticing I'm getting cut off. But yeah, so if you're scared to do it in the group, again, send me a DM. And right now I'm gonna kind of switch the tone, because here's the deal. I want to call forward those of you who want change. Yes, it's okay, if you want to stay where you are and keep doing what you're doing, keep thinking the way that you're thinking, keep living in the same limiting belief patterns, that's totally fine. That's totally your MO. That's totally up to you. That's totally fine and none of my business. I get it. Just I wanted to tell you that all of that is totally okay, but I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that I love you and I care about you, and I want to call you forward for those of you who want to step into change, but I totally am like, it's totally your choice and you can decide what to do with that as you want to. But right now I'm really speaking to those of you who are like me, tired of just staying stuck and really wanting to make a change. And, you really want to choose another path, and so if this is you and you want to shift into something new, you want to shift and change the trajectory of where your life is going, because right now it's not working. We should connect. We just really should connect. And, I just want to show you how I've done it. Like I said, I've come out of 2 really bad relationships. The first marriage, I just had a baby. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any money. So I had to tap into family for resources to leave that relationship. I mean, I was all the way in Washington. I didn't have any place to go. I ended up, my grandma had to pay for my ticket to fly home to Hawaii. And so here's some more backstory for you. Get to the airport. So the night before, we got into a really big fight, and because he already knew I was going home. I said, dude, I'm leaving you. You're fooling around on me. I'm out of here. I'm not going to sit here and take it. And so I had bought the ticket and everything. And then he just got really nuts the night before I was supposed to leave. So police came. And because he's military, we live really close to the military base in Fort Lewis, Washington. And so they came, they made him stay in the barracks to keep us separated. And then they kind of forbade him to come with me to the airport. But, I was like, I know I'm flying very far away. This is his son. And so he called in the morning and he said, can I come with you to the airport? And I was like, okay. Like, like my heart has really, call me stupid or whatever, but like I'm deeply empathetic, and I understand, like I could feel what he was feeling. And so I was like, okay, why don't you come to the airport with me? And worst mistake. So we got to the check-in counter, and mind you, I had like 2 big giant duffel bags. They're not the Green Army duffel bags, but I bought them on base, so they're about the size of a duffel bag. They had wheels on them, but so can you imagine? I have my baby in, the snuggly thing. So my son's here in the snuggly thing. He's 6 months old. And then I'm carrying these really heavy duffel bag on roller wheels right behind me. And he's carrying one, I'm carrying another one. Then he starts to make a scene at the airport. Right? He's like, security, She has my baby. She's taking my baby on a plane. She's kidnapping my baby. I was like, am I like? I should call Netflix and write a mini series of my life or whatever. But he was such a drama queen, and he caused a ruckus at the airport. And when the security came, I was like, I have tickets to go home to Hawaii. And I was like, this is my son. This is both of our sons, but I'm taking him home. He's still nursing. I'm taking him home with me to Hawaii. Our relationship is on the rocks, and I just need to get out of here. And they restrained him and whatever. And then but now I had to carry all of this stuff by myself. So, you know, I got on the airplane and I never went back. And there's a doozy for you. And so, I just want really, get to know you, get to know your situation. I've gotten on the phone with some of you who won the free session after the summit. You filled out the questionnaire and we hopped in a call, and I understand where some of you are at in this. And bottom line is, like, if we hop on a connection call, I want to hear your story, and I want to show you that there is a way out if this is something that you're stuck in. I've done it. I actually have a checklist. It's called the Escape Plan Checklist, and it's pretty much everything that you should do before considering a divorce. And I'll have that for you if you've listened to this video and this resonates with you. Comment below checklist, and I'll hop on a DM and I'll send that to you. And then, you know what, look through it. And then after you look through it, evaluate where you at, we can hop on a call and I can go over the whole list with you. Like, I'm not a lawyer, right? Disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a tax person or whatever. But what I had to do to get myself out of it was I ran out of money for lawyers. So I had to go down to the law library and research all of the things that his lawyer was threatening me with, like the house, the car, the kids, child support, and oh my gosh, it was a crazy nightmare. And for whatever reason, my ex-husband got her. She's a female lawyer, so she got all wrapped up in his story, got on his good side, and like then she just was like gunning for me, and I felt like I was all alone. So that's the main reason why I created this group, was for us to have a safe space that we can communicate and talk about these issues. And so that's it. And like I said, if this resonates with you, well, one, if you want the checklist, comment checklist. And if you want to schedule a call with me to just talk about some of the things that are happening with you, COVID-19, social distancing, lockdown, whatever you want to call it, stir crazy, whatever you want to call it, let's hop on a call. Let's talk through all of your issues. And I mean, I'm not a master, right? And part of me, I wasn't ready to hop in here and talk to you guys. Honestly, I wasn't ready. And so I just wanted to say that there's that. And then I'm going to do another video maybe tomorrow, because I'm going to be transitioning. Like, I'm going to change the name of the group, because right now it's called Recover Resiliently, which is the name of the summit. But I'm going to change it to Lead with Love, because like, you've heard all my story today, and Lead with Love is like a key theme that I use to help get myself out of these toxic relationships. and to get myself out of my toxic work environment. I actually was able to turn around the toxic work environment that I was in, and it was fun to go to every day. So just shifting a little bit of how I thought. And even though I wasn't always the leader, I became a leader, and I got promoted in my space. Like, I was the only female, and then there was another female that came after. Like, there was always like two females at a time. Like, sometimes just one, sometimes two. At the most, there was like 3 or 4 females out of 80 to 100 men, right? So talk about 2%, 1% of the demographic was female. So, leading with love is not a concept that, on the Old Boy Network, not very. So I'm going to do another live video for you guys to talk about why I'm changing the title of the group to Lead with Love, and how to help you lead your family with love, right? Or lead others in your circle of influence with love, because you can change the environment around you by leading with love. I get it. The people you may be dealing with right now don't deserve love. But really, did we deserve the love that God and Jesus showed to us? God sent his son on the cross to die for our sins, the ultimate sacrifice of love, right? Believe what you want, but that's what I believe. And so what would Jesus do? He would lead with love. He did a lot of things that were counterculture, and that's me. I'm that counterculture kind of person. Like, if you tell me to do one thing, I'm gonna just not. So if this resonates with you, and the whole rebel thing resonates with you, then yeah, let's talk. Okay, so I'm hitting the 30-minute mark, and I want to take too much of your time, but that's all I had to say today. Because this message is important, I'll be tagging those of you just so I know that you have seen it, because I feel like the algorithm is not being our friend right now, and I just want to make sure you guys watch the video. And yeah, so here's to us, and here's to us moving on and shifting upward and moving forward. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.